Hi everyone, thank you so much for being on your best behavior while I was gone. I really appreciate it. Okay, we're going to listen up, and today we're learning about writing equations in slope-intercept form. Okay, so yesterday you practiced graphing equations in slope-intercept form. We were graphing the intercept and then additional points using the slope. But today what we're going to do is write equations in slope-intercept form when we're given the slope and 1 point or just 2 points. Okay, so when given the slope and a point on a line, we need to write an equation of a line that passes through 2, -3, and has a slope of 1/2. So I'm so sorry you don't have guided notes today, so I'll give you a sec to write down the point 2, -3, and then the slope is 1/2. So we're going to say here that m is 1/2. So this point here, 2, -3, that's just a point that's on the line. So, okay, that means that this is my x and this is a y. And those are two things that exist on the line. So as long as I have these 2 points and the slope, I can actually use this equation. I can use my slope-intercept equation to solve for b. So we have this here, I'll make it blue. We have this m equals 1/2, so there's our m. And we have this x here. And we have the y here. So if I plug all those things in, I'm just left with b. So our first step in doing this is we're going to use the equation. And by equation, I mean the slope-intercept equation, to solve for b. Remembering that b is the y-intercept. Okay, so let's do this math. So I'm going to plug all of these things into that equation. So I'm going to use my -3 equals my slope, which is 1/2. And I'm going to say that x is 2. And I'm going to solve for b. Okay, so that would be -2 equals, well, 2 over 2 is 1, so that's 1 plus b. I'm going to subtract 1 from each side, and I end up with b equals -4. Okay, so b equals -4. Well, then I'm going to, once I have the slope, so that's my slope, I'm going to use the slope and intercept. Sorry, I have the intercept there. Slope and intercept in y equals mx plus b. So, okay, I'm going to say y equals the slope, which is 1/2 x, and then my y-intercept is -4, so -4. There is the equation for the line. It's beautiful. Okay, so then we have another one. Write an equation for a line with a slope of -3 that passes through 1, 4. So I'm going to give you a second to write 1, 4. So that's my x and my y. And then I have a slope of -3. So my m equals -3. Okay, I would like you to go ahead and let's pause the video. I'd like you to solve for b, the y-intercept, and then write an equation for the line. Then check it with your neighbor friend. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, we're back, and I solved this. I solved for the intercept over here. So I used y equals mx plus b, and I plugged in the points 1 and 4 into my y and my x, and I solved for b. And I got b, the intercept is 7. So now I'm just going to go back to my slope-intercept equation and say y equals my slope -3, right? X plus my intercept, 7, and there's my equation. You got it. Okay, so now we have a problem of we're given 2 points on the line. So write an equation of the line that passes through the point -3, -4, and the point -2, -8. Now, I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing I don't have a slope. So we're going to have to look at that here. Well, we do have 2 points, so that could be my x1, y1, and my x2, y2. Well, hey, if I have 2 points, I can use that in my slope formula. Okay, so what makes this different when I'm given 2 points is the last problem we had the slope, but now I need to solve for the slope. So the steps to solving this problem are going to be solve for slope. So whenever I see a problem like this, my steps are going to be solve for the slope. Then my next step is going to be solve for the y-intercept. And then my third step is going to be write the equation. Okay, so we had, let's do solving for the slope. We have this lovely formula for slope. We know that m equals, and it doesn't matter, remember if your y1s or your y2s are first. I've done a couple of y2s first, so we'll start with y1. So y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Again, it does not matter if the 1's come first or the 2's come first. All that matters is that you keep it consistent. What does matter is that the y's are on top and the x's, so the y's are our numerator and the x's are our denominator. All right, so here we go. I'm going to say -4 minus a -8 over -3 minus a -2. All right, so that's some fun negatives. So we know that that's -4 plus 8 over -3 plus 2. So if I look at this and rearrange this to help me out algebraically, I could be like, well, -4 plus 8, that's the same as 8 minus 4. And then this is the same as 2 minus 3. Remember the commutative property? I can just move these around. So that helps me do the math better, and I can see, oh, well, that's just 4 over -1. So I'm going to bring that negative to the side here and say -4 over 1, which is just -4. So my slope is -4. Okay, that's step 1. So let's go on to solving for the y-intercept. So to solve for the y-intercept, that's going to be my second part here, so the y-intercept. Okay, I'm going to just plug it into my equation. So y equals mx plus b. And I can really take either point. So this is a really crucial, important thing. I can plug in either point. It does not matter which one you plug in. Okay, I'm going to choose the 3 and the -3, the -4, just because smaller numbers. That's why I chose that one. So I'm going to say, okay, -4 equals my -4 times -3. And again, I just used the same point. This is the point that I chose to use. You could use the other. And then plus b. Okay, so that is -4 equals -12 plus b. And let's just, oh, wait a second. That's a positive 12. Woohoo! -4 times a -3 is a positive 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 from each side. And that's -16 equals b. Okay, so then my last step is going to be to write this equation. Okay, so this is step 3 here, so I'm going to say y equals my m, which I got as -4, x plus b, but the b is negative, so minus 16, and that is my equation. So again, this was our first step, this was our second step, and then this was our third step. Okay, try this one on your own. Try this one on your own. So write an equation of the line that passes through 6, -2, and 3, 4. So why don't you go ahead and pause the video and try it on your own. Okay, ready to reveal the answer? Here we go. Okay, so to solve for the slope, I did m equals, and I chose to do the, again, I told you I was going to do the ones first, so I did the ones first again. So I did y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So -2 minus 4 over 6 minus 3, and I got -6 divided by 3, m equals -2. Okay, so then I solved for the y-intercept, and I said y equals -2x plus b. So I chose this, the x2, y2 point, just because, again, smaller number is easier for me to do the math. And they were both positive. That's the reason why I chose this. Could I have done the other way? Absolutely. Still get the same answer. So 4 equals -2 times 3 plus b. So that's 4 equals a -6 plus b. I added 6 to both sides, and I get b equals 10. Then putting it all together with our last step, we have y equals, our slope is -2, so -2x plus 10. Ta-da. Nice work, everyone. So now what I'm going to have you do is answering the following questions with your neighbor friends. You've got 2 questions that I want you to work on with someone near you, and I actually want you to focus on the math and work these 2 problems together. So the table of ordered pairs shows the coordinates of 2 points on the graph of a line. Which equation describes the line? And then number 2 says write the equation of the line that passes through the 2 points -2 and 1, and then 3, 14. Okay, so work on this with your neighbor friend. Go ahead and pause the video, and then when you're done, we can come back and look at the work. Okay, let's go over number 1. So number 1 is like a problem that we did the other day, where we're told that this is a graph of a line, so we know we have this constant rate, this constant slope. So I really only need these 2 points here. And me personally, I'm going to look at this and be like, well, look, it looks like to go from 3 to 6, I add 3. To go to -1 to 2, I add 3. Well, we remember that slope is rise over run, but it's also delta, remember our change in y over our change in x. So that's just 3 over 3, which is just 1. So there's my slope. So now what I can do is I can find my intercept, right? So I have my slope, now I just need the intercept. So I'm going to go back to this, y equals, and my slope is 1x, so that's just x, plus b. And I can plug in anything I want. I'm actually going to plug in that last point, the 2, 6 point, simply because there's no negatives. So y is 6, x is 2, and this. Then I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and I get 4 equals b. All right, so looking at this, I can actually look at this and be like, oh, okay, well, this has a plus 4, so that could work. And this could work. I'm eliminating these because the intercept is a positive 4. Okay, so now I have to look at this and be like, okay, well, remember my slope was 1. So if I'm looking at it because of the slope, this has a slope of 1 and this has a slope of 1. So the only one where it's both true would be B. So this is my equation for the line there. Looking at 2, remember we're going to have to do the slope first. So I'm just going to say, let's see, I told you I'd do my 1s first. So I'll make this one x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm just going to say -1 minus 14 over a -2 minus 3. All right, so following that through, I have -15 then over -5. Well, negative divided by a negative is a positive, so that's just 15 over 5. And then 15 divided by 5 is just 3. I could have plugged it in the other way with the y2 minus y1. That would have given me all positive numbers. Again, it does not matter. Okay, so then let's plug it into the equation to get the y-intercept. So I know that we have y equals 3x plus b. And this is a tricky one. Either I have to deal with the 14 or I have to deal with negative numbers. I'm going to choose that 14 because why not? So 14 equals 3 times 3 plus b. So that's 14 equals 9 plus b. I'm going to subtract 9 from each. Some mental math there. That's b equals 5. So then if I'm going to write my equation, that's y equals m, that's my slope, 3x plus 5. There you go. But you got that because you are amazing. Okay, so we have a real world problem here. So speaking of amazing, this problem looks amazingly difficult, but it's really not that bad. So it says on June 1st of last year, Malia paid $3.20 per gallon of gas for her car. On July 1st of that year, she paid $3.42 per gallon of gas for the same gas station. Write a linear equation to find the cost of gas on the first day of any month for that year. All right, so I look at this and I might freak out a bit, but I'm just going to look at the words for a second and find the numbers. So I'm finding numbers. I've got 2 numbers, 3.2, 3.42, and I've got months. So really it's saying like, here's a month and here's a cost. And I have 2 months and 2 costs. Well, that kind of looks like 2 points. But a month, that's a categorical variable. That's a word. A month is a word, not a number, and I need it to be a number. So, oh, look at this hint. Use 1 to represent January. Okay, if I turn months of the year into numbers, if January is 1, that means February is 2, ... that would be that June is the 6th month, and July is the 7th month. If I convert the months into numbers, now I have an actual, I have 2 number values. So let's take a look at this. I have in June, which was the 6th month of the year, she paid $3.20. And in July, which is the 7th month of the year, Malia paid $3.42. So now I've got these 2 points. Oh, hey, 2 points. We know how to do that. So that's how I figured out how to do this problem. I went, okay, what do I have here? I have months and costs. What are the numbers they gave me? And that's how I got to here. Now at this point, I think you can solve it. So we have slope, right? Because I'm going to need to solve for slope. And in this case, I'm just looking at the numbers and everything will be positive if I do this. So I'm going to choose to do, my, my 2's first. So 3.42 minus 3.2 over 7 minus 6. Okay, 42 minus 20, that's 22. So 0.22 over 1, which makes my slope 0.22. Perfect. Now I need to find my y-intercept. Okay, so I'm just going to plug into this equation. So my equation is y equals 0.22x plus b. All right. I can pick any point I want. I'm just going to pick the first point because it's just staring at me there. So 320 equals 0.22 times 6 plus b. I have no idea what that is, so I'm going to go over here and do my little math here. 0.22 times 6, I'm going to say, okay, that's 12. And that's 13. And 0 is 0. So $1, 32. So I'm good there. All right, that works. Okay, so all right, I got that. That works. So I'm going to sit here and say 320 equals 1.32 plus b. So now I'm going to subtract 1.32 from each side, and I'm going to intentionally line that up because, again, I don't know how to do that. So in my head, so I'm going to say that's 8. Borrow from over there. 11 minus 3 is 8, and I'm left with 1. So 1.88 equals b. So then going to my formula here, y equals 0.22x plus 1.88, and there is my slope-intercept form of my equation. So it says write a linear equation. There it is in slope-intercept form. You did it. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. The cost of a textbook that Professor Lambert uses in her class was $57.65 in 2005. By 2008, the price had increased to $68.15. Write a linear equation to estimate the cost of this textbook in any years since 2005. What do you predict the cost of the book will be this year? Ooh, and this year would be 2021. Okay, so just looking at this, I'm not even looking at the hint yet, but I'm noticing that they're saying 2005. And they're going years beyond 2005. Now, me personally, it's going to be easier for me to not do math in the 2000s and for me to think about what's happened since 2005. So looking at this hint, let X represent the years since 2005. So that's like a really good clue. So I have years since 2005. Okay, and then this one is cost. Okay, and again, I like to write the variables like this with my X and my Y so I can see what I'm looking for here. Okay, so years since 2005 and cost. All right, so let's take a look at this. 2008 compared to 2005. Well, that's, how many years? Let's see, that's 3 years. So for this point, okay, in 2008, that would have been 3 years since 2005. And we knew that in 2008, the cost was $68.15. Now we've got this other cost here, this lovely $57.65, and that's in actual 2005. Well, if I think about this, 2005 is 0 years from 2005. So this is actually my y-intercept. That's kind of fun and sneaky. So I've got this other point, 57.65, but if I have my y-intercept, that's kind of a fun one. But really it's just the point 0 and 57.65. Okay. I'm back to the old 2-point system thing. So, slope. Okay, I'm going to say this one first, 68.15 minus 57.65 over 3 minus 0. Why? Because then I'm dealing in positive numbers, and I love positive numbers. Okay, I'm going to have to do some math up here. 6815 minus 5765. Okay, so that's going to be 0, 7, 11. That's a 5, 0, and a 1. So I'm going to end up with 1050 on top and 3 on the bottom. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, but it screams long division. So here we go. Whee! 10.5 divided by 3. We can do this. There's a 9, and then 1 doesn't go in, so I'm going to have to bring the 5 down. And notice I'm going to bring my decimal up so I don't lose it there. And I get 3.5. So that's not so bad. So my slope is going to equal 3.5. Now here's the part I really like. This is the y-intercept. I don't have to solve for that. I can just go straight to step 3 and say y equals 3.5x plus 5765. Hooray! That's just the first part, right? Write a linear equation. Here's my linear equation. The next part is, what would the price of the book be this year? So pause the video, and using this equation, I want you to solve for what the price of the book would be this year. And again, remember that cost is y, and years since 2005 is x. Okay, here we go. 2021 and 2005, well, that's a lovely 16 years. So I know that my x is going to be 16, and I want to solve for my y. Right, so I'm going to just plug this into the equation here. And I'm going to say y equals 3.5 times 16 plus 57.65. Okay, so 16 times 3.5. So that would be 30. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. 18. 3 times 6 is 18. And then that's 3, and then a 4. So adding all these up, I have 0, 6, 5. Okay, and I can't forget that lovely decimal point. So I'm going to put that back in. Okay, so I get 56. All right, so that's y equals 56 plus 57.65. So I'm going to put this here just to make my life a little bit easier. That would be 65. 7 and 6 is 13. And 11. So that means that my y equals 113.65. So that means that the cost of the book is $113.65. Wow, we did it. If you want to challenge yourself with these, you can now try the problems that we did yesterday, if that helps. Some of the real world problems that we looked at that were in your guided notes from yesterday. If you haven't already, you could try those. Or you could go straight on to the homework. So here's your homework. It's page 229. It's numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Please work quietly, and please work on your homework. Have a great day.